Gypsy Rose Blanchard is once again pretending to leave TikTok. But this time, it's not just her usual, I need to take a break for my mental health excuse. No, this one hits different. Because it came right after two huge bombshells. Her ex-husband Ryan Anderson came forward and exposed her for getting him fired from his job. And at the same time, her prison email messages leaked to the public. So now, just like she always does when the heat is on, Gypsy posts a story saying she's living her best life and acts like she's leaving social media. But here's the thing, she didn't delete her TikTok account. Nope. What she did was record her screen while deleting the app from her phone. That is it. She didn't just go to her settings and remove her account or deactivate it. She literally just deleted the icon from her home screen. And even more bizarre, she posted the screen recording of herself deleting the app on TikTok. That means she had to re-download the app just to upload the video. So the whole thing was pointless and kind of ridiculous. She went through all that just to prove to people that she's too busy living her best life to be online. But is she? Or is she just trying to run away from everything that's being exposed about her right now? Because the more we look into this, the clearer it becomes that she's not escaping to live her best life. She's escaping the truth. This isn't the first time Gypsy has done this. Not even close. In fact, it's become such a predictable routine that people can set their clocks by it. Whenever she gets called out for something or a scandal involving her name starts trending, Gypsy Rose announces she's taking a break from social media. She'll post something dramatic or vague or even inspirational, like she's about to start some journey of self-care or healing. But then what happens? She's back before anyone even gets the chance to miss her. Sometimes within days, other times within hours. Take this latest stunt, for example. She claimed she needed space to focus on her piece, but that break lasted less than 24 hours. She's done this over and over again, always promising to go offline for good, to focus on her daughter, her healing, and her relationship. And yet, she always ends up right back in the same place, posting selfies with quotes, engaging with fans, and uploading sponsored content like nothing ever happened. It's like she thinks a quick disappearance and a few words about mental wellness will make people forget all the drama she's caused. And it's not just the posts. This time, she also did what people call a clean sweep of her TikTok. She deleted every video that could cause backlash. Gone were the clips involving Nick. Gone were the emotional videos about her baby. The conflicts with her stepmom Christy and the family drama involving her dad. All wiped. She only left a few feel-good posts. One with her husband Ken, her friends, and that trailer from her Lifetime show. It was a clear attempt to control the narrative, but the truth? This is just another repeat of what she did before. The exact same strategy. Last year, she wiped her page too. She said she wanted privacy, acted like she was leaving it all behind. And then, she re-uploaded the same stuff like the cleanup had never even happened. Like she forgot people have eyes and memories. People who have been watching her behavior closely say she's done this disappearing act at least 7 times in the past 18 months. That's almost every other month. And almost every time, it's right when something bad comes out. An exposed message, a leaked email, a disturbing clip, or an ex speaking out. She doesn't live to heal, she lives to hide. And what's wild is that each return is always framed like some triumphant comeback. Like she was gone saving the world or healing in silence. But the only thing she's really doing is waiting for the backlash to die down. Then she pops back like nothing even happened, hoping everyone moved on. So why now? Why is Gypsy acting like she's leaving TikTok this time around? Because her ex-husband Ryan Anderson finally decided he had nothing left to lose. And when he spoke up, he didn't hold back. Ryan went live and shared that Gypsy got him fired from his job as a special education teacher. This wasn't a job he had just picked up. He cared deeply about it and about his students. But according to Ryan, Gypsy shared private information about his mental health and medications online. Once that info went public, people started calling his school. They raised concerns, and then, out of nowhere, he was let go. Ryan said that it wasn't the leaked text where he used a homophobic slur that got him fired. It was the medical information Gypsy posted that crossed the line. And to make matters worse, Gypsy had the audacity to message him afterward, asking if he lost his job, pretending to be concerned, acting like she didn't already know she was the one who caused it. What's heartbreaking is that this isn't the first job Brian has lost because of it. After she was released from prison, Ryan lost his teaching position at a Catholic school because parents found out he was married to someone who had been involved in a murder. That situation wasn't Gypsy's fault. This time, she did it intentionally. Ryan got emotional during the live, sharing that a student had just thanked him for being a good teacher. He broke down crying, saying it was painful to hear that after getting fired. It was raw, real, and heartbreaking. Her lies keep unraveling. But Ryan didn't stop there. Once he started opening up, the revelations kept coming. He said Gypsy has been drinking alcohol before her parole officially ended. That's a big deal, considering she made a huge deal out of her so-called first ever drink after parole in front of her followers. She went on podcasts, made TikToks, and told interviewers that she waited until her parole was officially done to have a sip of alcohol. But according to Ryan, that was just another carefully crafted lie to make herself look clean and innocent to the public. That may seem small at first glance, but it points to a much bigger issue. Gypsy likes to control the narrative. She wants to look good, she wants sympathy, and she will say whatever she needs to say to protect that image. And then came the real gut punch. Ryan revealed that while Gypsy was making sweet public posts about being pregnant with Ken Nuka, smiling for the camera, calling him the love of her life, and sharing ultrasound photos, she was secretly texting Ryan behind Ken's back. According to Ryan, she told him flat out that she regretted the pregnancy. She said the baby was the only thing keeping her from being with him again. Let that sink in. To the public, she was glowing and proud to be starting a family with Ken. But behind the scenes, she was telling her ex-husband that she wanted to start over with him, that if it weren't for the baby, she would leave Ken. She made it seem like she was still in love with Ryan, still dreaming about a future together, all while uploading couple content with Ken and pretending to be in a stable relationship. It's not just confusing, it's manipulative. It follows the exact same pattern we saw before. When she was with Ryan, she was secretly messaging Ken. Now while she was with Ken, she was secretly messaging Ryan, flipping back and forth between the two, depending on who could give her more emotional support, more attention, or maybe more public approval at the time. Ryan pointed out that this kind of emotional ping-pong wasn't new. It's just that before he couldn't speak out. He had a job to protect. He had students who depended on him. But now that Gypsy cost him that job too, he had nothing holding him back. And most importantly, Ryan doesn't have an NDA like Ken reportedly does. So he's finally, and what he revealed paints a picture of someone who is not just confused or hurt, but someone who is intentionally deceitful, using people, bending stories, and switching sides whenever it benefits. It's heartbreaking, it's exhausting, and it's a reminder that sometimes the person who plays the victim the loudest is hiding the most behind the scenes. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse. At the same time Ryan was exposing her, Gypsy's old emails were leaked to the public, and they showed a whole new level of manipulation. One of the most upsetting parts is how she talked about her stepmother, Christy. Christy had stood by her. She looked after Gypsy, supported her relationship with Ken, and even helped with the baby. But behind her back, Gypsy was encouraging her dad to cheat on Christy. In her emails, she warned Rod that Christy had been snooping in his Facebook Messenger. She didn't try to stop him. She didn't defend Christy. She threw her under the bus. and even made it sound like Christy would be to blame if the marriage fell apart. She acted like spying on your partner was worse than cheating. That Christy being nosy was a bigger deal than Rod being unfaithful. It was shocking. It showed that Gypsy was choosing sides, and she wasn't on Christy's. Even worse, Christy had been confiding in Gypsy, and Gypsy was turning around and telling everything to her dad, giving him a heads up. She was playing both sides and doing it with a smile. It was cold, it was calculated, and it exposed a whole other layer of who Gypsy really is. Repeating the same toxic behavior. And the manipulation didn't stop there. The leaked emails went even deeper, showing that Gypsy wasn't just playing mind games with her family or exes. She was also continuing manipulative relationships behind bars. One of the most shocking revelations was how she had been engaging with an older woman in prison, pretending to be involved in a dom-sub dynamic. This type of power play relationship is something Gypsy had previously blamed entirely on Nick, claiming he introduced her to it and pressured her into playing submissive roles she didn't understand. She made it sound like she was coerced, like she was a naive girl who had been pushed into uncomfortable and inappropriate behavior by Nick and didn't know any better. But now, thanks to her own emails, we see something very different. Gypsy was initiating similar role-play dynamics with other people all on her own. She was sending messages, creating scenarios, and fully engaging in the same exact behavior she once described as traumatic and abusive when it came from Nick. And it wasn't just innocent flirting. These were detailed, planned out exchanges where she embraced the dominant submissive roles and, according to the tone and content, was likely benefiting from them emotionally and maybe even financially. This wasn't something she was being forced in. This was something she had control over and willingly took part in. What makes this more disturbing is the timing. She was doing all this while simultaneously leaking Nick's past messages, trying to make him look like a monster for the same behavior she was privately repeating. She painted herself as a victim in public, teary-eyed, soft-spoken, misunderstood. But in private, she was orchestrating her own version of the same exact dynamic she claimed had damaged her. It's clear now that this wasn't just a moment of poor judgment from the past. It wasn't something she was manipulated into. This was a pattern, a repeated intentional pattern, where Gypsy told people exactly what they wanted to hear to maintain control. She changed her personality, her tone, and even her story, depending on who she was talking to. She played victim when it helped her image. She played powerful when it gave her attention. And she crafted every version of herself around the benefit she could get from it. Whether it was love, validation, sympathy, or even money, Gypsy knew what she was doing. The more you dig, the clearer it becomes. Gypsy wasn't always the one being controlled. She often was the one pulling the strings. And the scariest part, she did it with a level of calm that shows just how comfortable she is living in that gray space between truth and manipulation. An exit that isn't real. So now she's off TikTok. But let's be real here. She isn't actually gone. Not really. Because if you've been following Gypsy for even a short while, you know the pattern by now. Every time she makes a dramatic exit, she always comes back. And not just quietly either. She returns like nothing ever happened. No explanation, no accountability, just back with a smile, a filter, and a caption about healing or growth. Sometimes it's a few weeks, sometimes a few days, sometimes she doesn't even make it through 24 hours. We all know she's still watching. She's likely scrolling through the comments on other people's pages, searching her name, maybe even a banner account to check in on the reactions. She wants to see the temperature. She wants to know if people are still mad or if the dust has settled just enough for her to make a quiet re-entry. And when she does come back, we can almost predict the formula. Maybe it will be a video of her crying softly in her car. saying she's been misunderstood. Or maybe she will say she's been bullied and attacked online and she wants peace. She might even say she's grown or had a realization. Anything that keeps her shift from being the one exposed to the one in control again. But this time feels a little different because the lies aren't just hearsay anymore. The receipts are public. The prison emails are out. Ryan is finally speaking up and people are actually listening. This isn't some random drama that can be spun away with a soft filter and a motivational quote. The facts are there. The timeline is clear. And no amount of disappearing is going to undo that. And let's be honest with ourselves. Deleting the TikTok app from your phone isn't the same as deleting your presence from the internet. Her account is still active. Her videos are still up. And even if she wiped some of them, it doesn't erase the screenshots, the reposts, or the memory of what she's done. Removing the app is just a way to avoid noise temporarily. It's not a real goodbye. It's just hiding. It's pressing pause on the accountability, hoping that by the time she presses play again, people will have forgotten. But more and more, it's looking like people won't forget this time. And if Gypsy really thinks she can disappear her way out of this one, she might be in for a rude awakening. The truth always comes back. Every time we think the story of Gypsy Rose is done, something else jumps out of the shadows. Another twist, another exposed message, another person coming forward to say, she did this to me too. And every single time, it gets harder and harder to look away, harder to excuse, harder to believe that it's all just a misunderstanding. At some point, patterns stop being coincidences. They start being character. She can delete the apps from her phone. She can post all vague inspirational quotes about peace, healing, or growth. She can say she's finally choosing to live her best life offline. But no matter how many times she hits log out, she can't delete the truth. The internet never forgets. The screenshots have been saved. The live streams have been downloaded. The emails have been filed. And the people she's hurt, they are no longer scared to speak. You can only play the victim for so long before the cracks start to show, before the timelines don't add up, before the receipts surface. And that's where Gypsy is now, at the place where the past keeps catching up faster than she can run from it. So what do you think? Is this the final time she exits TikTok for real? Or are we going to see another return in a few days with a new storyline, a fresh excuse, and a carefully edited video to win back her audience? Will she finally own up to anything? Or will she act like none of this ever happened and expect everyone to play along? Let us know in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because one thing is certain. Whether she stays silent or comes back with another version of the truth, the Gypsy Rose story is far from over. And if history has shown us anything, it's that there is always more just around the corner.